I quit gardening. Greetings, friends! I don't know about you, but I really enjoy me some homegrown, fresh garden produce, like tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, beets, and radishes. But no more of that, because I quit gardening. Yep, I quit gardening. No more garden, no more garden, no more garden. Well, at least for this year. Because this year, I'm observing a land Sabbath. And following the biblical instruction in Leviticus 25, it says 1 year and 7, on that 7th year, to let your land rest. Don't sow it, don't till it and plow it, but to let it rest. Whatever comes up and grows, let it grow. Whatever produce grows of its own accord, you can enjoy it, your workers can enjoy it, and your animals can enjoy it. But you know what? I've never done this before. This is my very first time. So I'm wondering, will this work? Is this even worth any good of me not growing any things? Am I just gonna miss out and family gonna go hungry and all that? Well, God also says, test me. Test and prove all things. And I plan to do that. So I decided to start off this testing period with a literal test, a soil test kit. One that we got from Redmond Salt Company, their soil analysis kit. I've never seen anyone like it before. And supposedly, a part of the land Sabbath is actually restoring the balance of your soil and the microorganisms and things like that. So I'm like, let's kick off this testing with a soil test. Once I got my soil test kit, one of the first things I did was register the kit online and created a profile. Next, I gathered samples from multiple locations on the farm. Then, I mixed those samples together. After that, I added a scoop of the soil into the testing water that comes with the kit. And lastly, I put our sample in the envelope, put it in the mailbox, and mailed it in. And about a week later, I got my results back. And I was actually really surprised about the results because, one, they're really thorough. They test more than just the NPK like a lot of the just basic test kits will do. It tests so much more than that. It tests magnesium, manganese, and others. And on top of that, with showing you where your soil is, it also gives you a recommendation of what your soil needs. And to my surprise, my soil is still low on nitrogen. Despite adding it year after year and planting after planting, most basically, I'm still low on nitrogen. So one of the things that I plan to do as part of this land Sabbath is to increase the humus, the really good stuff in our soil as a part of letting our land rest, because that is the area, the humus is where the nitrogen is mostly, and a lot of the good stuff that your plants need.
Arr, there's nothing like black gold.
It's wonderful. So as I'm going through the process of trying to observe this land Sabbath, there's a lot of figuring out, because like I've said before, I've never done this before, so it's like, what do I do exactly? And I have to remember that it is a land Sabbath for the land, but not necessarily for me as the farmer, the grower, the gardener, whatever. That yes, there's benefits for me not having to work and focus on the garden, but what do I do with those other energies and time? And I'm like, whoa, there's some benefits to that. It gives me the opportunity to kind of shift gears and focus energies in other areas that, hey, I wouldn't have been able to do before. But does that mean that I can just completely abandon the garden, that I have to do that? Not necessarily. As I was thinking, well, things that are coming up on their own, and then we have our animals that says that they can benefit from them. Why not what has grown up in the garden, bring in our livestock and let them enjoy it? So the first thing we did was start bringing in the goats. And they started eating up the higher vegetation that grew, as well as they were adding fertilizer while they were there, increasing nitrogen. After the goats, we moved the chickens into the garden to eat the lower vegetation. And then after the chickens, I know this sounds crazy, but I got some Redmond agricultural salt and conditioner and added it to the garden beds that the chickens and goats were in. After the salt, added some chicken feathers leftover from processing chickens, some char and wood ash, and then I was like, let's also get some hay and goat manure from our goat shelters to add to the beds. It's really neat to see in here, even though we've had a number of dry days, but the moisture that is staying inside here. So adding this to the garden will also not only add fertilizer, but also add this nice organic matter and everything that will help create more humus in our soil, which will also create more moisture for our plants too. So I've gotten some criticism lately that I don't mention fitness enough in our videos. Well, even though I may not mention it all the time, if you just watch what we're doing, we're pretty active. And my philosophy as far as fitness varies a little bit from most people, because they think that you just gotta have this perfect workout program or go to the gym or that. But no, if we really just strive to be more active, to move more and to do more, we'll get our fitness within that. So right now, as I'm just doing this part of our farm, I'm also getting some exercise. As you can tell, I'm starting to lose my breath a little bit because you gotta put some effort into it. So if I go to the gym, pushing plates around, you get some exercise in, but what, did you accomplish something on top of that? No. Not only am I moving some fertilizer, poop, organic matter around, I'm also getting some exercise in too. And even though I'm keeping a Sabbath for the land, 6 days a week I continue to work, getting my exercise in, as well as getting stuff done at the same time. Besides, The land Sabbath statute doesn't supersede the fourth commandment of working 6 days out of 7 each week. And then after all that, we added something that my daughter wasn't looking forward to helping me add, and that was chicken blood that I'd been saving from processing as well. Go ahead.
Got an onion in it.
Go back there. I don't know who put the onion in there. You gonna be all right? You didn't pass out? I really look forward to seeing at the end of this land Sabbath year of what blessings and benefits there will actually be. I plan to do a soil test once again at the end of the year to see how much our soil actually improves. I plan to test it like I told you, and I can just only foresee of after bringing in the animals, letting them eat from it, drop their manure, and then after that us bringing in some of these other things just to give back to the soil that we have been taking from these past 6 years to see what humus and what is created, what is regenerated and restored. Can't wait to see that. That's pretty exciting. And I know some of you have been wondering, how in the world are you going to feed and provide for yourself and make a living during this land Sabbath year? And it's one of those things, it's kind of hard to explain unless you go through it. It's like, because it says a great understanding have those who do his commandments, whether it's tithing, keeping the weekly Sabbath or whatever. You don't really understand how all it will work out until you actually start doing it. But it also promises for the land Sabbath in the 6th year that you would be blessed with more produce. And we were blessed with more produce than we have ever had here, as well as we were blessed in other aspects of various parts of our business that is, frankly, it's hard to explain. But there's also blessings that are to come in the 8th year after the land Sabbath year. And I really can't wait to see what those are. I look forward to seeing them. One area that we've already gotten like a taste sample of how it could be is in our high tunnel, where we had previous year had our chickens in there, and then this past winter we had our goat stall in there as our goats were giving birth, and they had their babies in there, and they were just adding their manure and things too, and we're adding hay on top of that. We recently disassembled that, but to see all the plants that have come up in that high tunnel that we didn't even sow, we didn't even start those plants, that there's tomatoes, plants all over the place in that high tunnel, and it's like I didn't have any hand in that this year, and they just come up all on their own. So it'd be neat to see also all the different things that we can enjoy this year. Like we're already enjoying more strawberries, they're fantastic, and to see what tomatoes. I know I mentioned earlier that maybe no tomatoes, but with the tomatoes that are coming up, we can still enjoy them. So it's neat to think about that too. Well, I think I hear my chickens calling me. Since we're not focusing on the garden so much this year, I've decided to increase our animal production, and it's chore time. Well, if you haven't subscribed already to this channel, make sure you do, and you can also click that bell to receive notifications each time I release a new video, so that way you can stay up to date on what all is going on here during the land Sabbath. Will we actually survive? You'll just have to see. See you next time.